everybody. It's time. We got to address the Trump. And I've been very critical of his handling of the Epstein files. I've had conversations with people who are worth far more money than me, who are very, very connected, very, very smart. And today, I want to express concerns about our dear president. Okay. Um, Keep in mind, I did vote for this man. I do believe that overall, this man is doing a net good job. I really do. You, I think the math and the data says he's doing a phenomenal job at growing our country like a business, which is how it should be ran. I think his military force and his aggressiveness is key. I think it deters um, stupid people from doing stupid things to us much more than the previous administration. I obviously am a huge fan of what he's doing against drugs and the border. I'm a huge fan of his tariffs and economic policy. I'm a huge fan of his using our oil to become oil dominant. If you look at countries like Dubai, or not, if you look at Dubai, you look at these oil companies that are just massively wealthy. I think as long, obviously, there's been no trickle down effect, right? The money's somewhere. We're selling all this shit. We're getting all these investments, and us taxpayers are still getting yoked, right? So until there's actually results to the normal Americans like us, I reserve my right to comment on that. But that would be the biggest thing that I'm scared of is, hey, if we make all this money and none of it goes to the people who pay all the taxes, uh, we have a real problem. And that might be what sets us into a revolution, to be honest. It's going to be taxation. It is not going to be left right. It is going to be squeezing the American people so hard financially that the left and right get together and say, fuck off no more. That will be my prediction of what happens. I believe 90% of people are in agreement on 90% of issues. And the things that we disagree on typically are below the line issues. Okay. And when I say below the line, what I mean is they're minutia details, right? Like abortion. This affects people for not much time. Those are issues that are below the line to me. Um, 50 to 70% taxation above the line. Drugs killing people, crime, borders, military strength, economics, income, all of these things I think are grocery price, right? Like all of those things, I think most people, if you sit them down, and I have very, very, very liberal family members that we agree on 98% of shit. Right. My wife is much more right than I am. My wife's brother is very, very left. And when I sit down and talk with both of them, and we do get into political conversation, uh, we agree on almost everything. And that's where I like to keep the conversation, right? Because I don't care enough about politics one way or the other to really argue with somebody and make my day worse, right? So if it starts going down one of those rabbit holes, I say, hey, listen, we don't have to agree on everything. I want to talk about things that I think actually matter. And then we get the conversation back on track, right? And that's basically how we do it. So, however, this guy, with the Epstein release, there's two scenarios that I think. And the problem with either scenario is there's problems with both scenarios, and I'm going to explain them. So first, the most obvious answer is Trump is owned by Israel. Um, which I think there's a 40% chance of that. Okay. I think of the two options I'm going to give you, I think this is the less likely, but I don't think it's much less likely. I think Israel has something on Trump, uh, has to be huge because he has been America first, America first, America first, America first. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's on his knees for Israel. And that typically, for a guy with this type of attitude and this type of bravado, um, they could have threatened him. They could have threatened to release information. They could have done all those things. However, At the end of the day, whatever it is, I think that's the lesser of the two options that I'm going to go over. I think the more important and more probable of what happened with the Epstein case, and again, I want to keep this revolved around the Epstein case, getting the Democrats to vote to release it. Because remember, the Democrats have had this information for the last 4 years, and they didn't release it. They didn't talk about it. They wouldn't release it. We screamed, cried, hollered, and blah 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 blah. They didn't. They didn't even fuck with Epstein files. Okay, they were in power. They had House, Senate, presidency. They had everything. Remember those 2 years? It fucking blew. And they didn't do shit, and they had the power to do it. So I don't want to hear the moral high ground. I think the second option was he trapped him. I think the second option was this. I think he knew that if he got the files released, the media wouldn't cover it. Because it seems like all these prominent, high powered people are involved. So obviously, if you own the news cycle, you're not going to report on this. And he knew that if he got everything released, it wouldn't ever get national news coverage, which again, the news is a fucking joke anyway. But I don't think it would have got the coverage that he wanted it to have. And Trump's old, right? Trump's fucking damn near 80. He still lives in the idea. Now, obviously, he's evolved, right? But he still was raised on the idea that the TV is the king, right? He's a reality TV star. TV is the one who's made him a lot of money, right? Like that's his celebrity, that's his persona is television. So I still think deep seated inside of him, he thinks television has more importance than it does. And I think that he knew that if he didn't get the news clamoring for it, the Democrats clamoring for the release of these files, that they wouldn't cover it. And to be honest, he's right. If the Republicans would have put this through and said, hey, we're going to release all these files, I don't think he would have gotten it through. And I think there would have been Republicans as well who would have voted no on that, because obviously Israel owns quite a few of our senators and congressmen, and I think everybody's in agreement with that. I don't think that's uncommon knowledge. I think it's fucked up that nobody's done anything about it. Who's actually in power, right? I'm not talking about Charlie Kirking somebody. I'm simply saying, like, that's not like in that big of a scenario. This needs to come from leadership. This needs to come from military, and this needs to be, hey, great, you can have all the information in the world. Your country's about to glow in the dark. That would be the level that I go, because we should not be controlled by some tiny little sandbox halfway across the world for blackmail. If you fucked up, great, cool. Let's find out. Let's get it all out there. And then they have no control over us anymore. And then if they want to fuck around, they could find out. That would be how I would run it. Okay. I wouldn't care. I really don't care. I know they probably have a million things on me as well. I don't care. If I was the president, I would say, hey, listen, you can do that. But if you do that, your country's going to glow in the dark for the next 100 years. I will nuke you into existence. The dinosaurs will have more people than you will. That's how I would handle it. Okay, I'm releasing this. I'm the president of the United States. I'm the president of the most powerful country in the world. You ain't shit. You're a tiny little fucking blip. You've been kicked out of how many countries? Like over 109 countries that they've been kicked out of. Okay, they're the problem. Now, you can say that's anti-Semitic if you want. It's just the fucking facts. Okay, I don't give a fuck. I like, you're not in America. You shouldn't control America. Eat a dick. Now, back to the option. So I think he knew that he had to get coverage on this. And the only way you can get coverage is obviously you can use TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, and get everybody so angry at you and calling it a hoax and calling it this, and to where now people are going, oh, we got to release it. Now we got to release it. Now, blah, 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 blah. And the news cycle, ever since the shutdown, and if you watch the Democratic approval rating, it is absolutely tanked, atrocious. They have nobody. Their front runner is the guy literally ruining California, is the guy who spent $24 billion on a train that does not exist. Okay, because he stole it. He's the nephew of Nancy Pelosi. You can go look that up. And they think that's their best front runner for president of the United States in the Democratic side going into 2028. Laughable at best. No one's buying that fucking moron. Okay. Now, that being said, they use this because they don't have any principles or policy to stand on. They're the most disliked they've ever been. And the only thing that they've been able to do over the last 10 years is I hate Trump. That has been everything they've done is Trump is bad. It's not, this is what we're going to do that's good. It's Trump is bad. So here's the truth. I think he used that. I think he set a trap. I think he got a unanimous vote to go through to say, hey, you guys wanted this? Here you go. Release all of it because he knew he wasn't implicated. Now, they're going to try to drum up some shit. They're going to try to read into things. But trust me, if there was hard evidence, they would have used it in the last election. Because if any actual information was there on Trump on Epstein Island doing things, if there was any evidence at all of that, they would have won the election in a landslide against him. As a matter of fact, I thought it was weird that for 4 years they did nothing with the files, the last administration. And I thought there's two options. A, there's nothing there. Or B, they're waiting till the week before the election to bomb them. Because that would have swung it. That would have won I wouldn't have voted at all. I wouldn't have voted for Kamala and I wouldn't have voted for him. I would have not cast my vote, which would have deterred most people, I believe, to not cast their vote because there would have been no option. And that would have made the way that the voting systems work to go Democrat. So they don't have anything on them. They don't have anything concrete on them. If they did, they would have used it. There was no reason to save that. There's no reason to save that. Now, do I think other foreign intelligence agencies have all this information? Yes, 100% I do. I really do. I think there's more than one country who has the information on the Epstein files. And so I don't think we're going to get a whole lot out of them, if you want my honest opinion. I think most of the good stuff was probably been burned over the last 10 years. That's what I think. I think all the stuff that would have actually pointed to this person did this with this child or this underage person, I think all that information has been scrubbed from our side. Do I think other foreign intelligence agencies still have that? 100%. That's the only levers they'd have. That's how they control, right? Like it's that's just how they do it. But I don't think we have it. And the problem is you have to remember, guys, when they say we're going to release the Epstein files, what they mean is we're going to release our Epstein files that we currently that have been in our possession for 10 years and that have probably been scrubbed of all the things that we deem we don't want ever to get out. We just deleted it and got rid of it. That is what I think. So I think this information is completely worthless. Now, obviously, there's going to be people implicated all over the place on all sides. And again, collateral damage wise, fuck them. Let it be implied. If you're part of the problem, great. I do not care what happens to you. I understand how they could have done this. I understand that you could have been fooled. I understand all of these things. But if you knowingly have been blackmailed, you need to come out with the proof of the blackmail. This is the time. This is the time to come out and say, hey, listen, this is how they set me up. This is how they did it. This is how they've held leverage over me. This is how they paid me. This is how they got me to go along with everything. And come out and come clean. Because if you do that, that is your only prayer. That is your only prayer. If you're somebody who was on the island or somebody who was going to be implicated in this, your only hope that you ever have is to be the whistleblower on who's actually in control. and the things that were used to blackmail and the way that they blackmailed you, whether it be our intelligence agencies or those in foreign countries. Your only hope is to whistleblow it. And if they kill you for it, they kill you for it. But you will go down as a hero as opposed to a villain. If you do nothing and you say nothing and you shut up and you continue to take the hush money and you continue to steal from the taxpayer and you just stay implicated in this and that's just the cross you bear, you are a coward and you are treasonous to the country of America. And for the rest of your life, your children's lives, your entire legacy will be stained. But if you were the one who came out and started the movement of all of these people to come out and say, I was blackmailed. I was blackmailed. Here's how they did it. Here's what happened to me. Here's as much proof as I have. They're obviously very good at hiding proof. But come out with everything that you have and tell the fucking truth. You will start a chain of events that will liberate this fucking country. Because for the first time, we will have politicians implicating themselves with honesty. I don't remember the last time that that happened. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. The last time that a politician came out and implicated himself with honesty about how the system is corrupt was how this man became president. And if you don't remember, it was when they were debating with him and Hillary, and they talked about the tax code and how he evades taxes by using our own tax code. And the reason that they won't change the tax code is because all the other rich people who donate to Hillary, that's how they loophole it. That was the last time that somebody was actually honest about a portion of the corruption. And if you can be honest about the blackmail and you come out and you say, hey, I know they're going to kill me for this, but I have to say it. I have to do this. You call Fox, or you can't really call the news agencies, right? You call Tucker, you call Candace, you call Joe, you get out, like you get your people saying, hey, we want to drop an absolute bombshell. We want to show the blackmail, but we have to be extremely careful. We have to do this. I don't care if you have to send somebody to drive and put all your electronics away and go meet with that person without phones so that they don't record the conversation. I don't care. Get the message out. Get the message out. Because all it takes is one. It takes one domino to start this train, and this train will free this country. But this man either set a trap that wasn't that complicated to see. Anyone with half a neuron that fires could see this coming, if that was the case. Or two, he's owned by Israel. Could be a combo. Could be a combo. Either way, keep this in mind, guys. The files that are going to be released are not the real files, they're the files we have. Okay, so when you're reading this stuff, understand it's been scrubbed, it's been redacted, it's been edited, it's been messed with, it's been in other people's hands for a decade. Trust me, the powers that be got their names out of there. Trust me. How do I know? Because let me explain something to you. If somebody came to you and said, hey, you have access to these? Yes. Here's $80 million. Get my name out of there. I'll give you 10 now, and I'll give you 70 when it's done. And you can prove that it's done. Every single government employee is taking that deal. I'd take that deal. I'd be like, yeah, done. Now you can say, oh no, it's good. I'm above that. No, you're fucking not. No, you're not. Here's money that would change everything for you and then every generation after you if taken care of properly. Get my name out of here. Okay. Because if you work in the government, you understand the corruption inside of the government and the Neanderthalism inside of the government. It is corrupt people who hire stupid people. Ask any of them. They'll tell you. And if they tell you, no, it's not, it means they're one of the stupid people. Okay? That's how it works. It's the corrupt people hiring the stupid people. I think he played the Democrats like a fiddle. That's what I think. We'll see as it continues to come out. Again, if I'm wrong and he is implicated and he does get in trouble for this, good. There is no such thing as anyone's above the law. There is no such thing as this doesn't matter. There is no such thing as hoax, hoax, hoax. None of it. You get caught, fuck you. In this scenario, this is the only thing that Americans agree on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Have a great day.